So if you guys kept up with my Instagram/Twitter storm over the weekend, or followed any of the thousands of other people doing the same thing, then you're probably aware that Marvel revealed a bunch of different movies and Disney Plus shows at Comic-Con this year, all part of Phase 4, one of which being the Thor sequel, Thor: Love and Thunder. Speaking of, while Kevin Feige was talking about that movie, it was revealed that we'd be seeing both the original Chris Hemsworth version of Thor as well as the Jane Foster version, with Natalie Portman even set to reprise her role as Jane.
Excuse me, what?
I know, right? I thought she pretty much swore off the MCU after she worked on Thor: The Dark World and Marvel fired Patty Jenkins, but whatever. Past is past, I guess. Either way, she's gonna be the second Thor in the Marvel Cinematic Universe now, which is fine, I guess. Really, I'm just concerned with where she's going to get a proper weapon that'll give her the power of Thor in the first place. Mjolnir, the original Thor's weapon of choice that Jane wielded during her run as the Goddess of Thunder in the comics, was destroyed by Hela right after Odin died during Thor Ragnarok. And the alternate timeline version of the hammer that both Thor and Captain America used during Avengers Endgame was returned to the past by Cap at the end of the movie. So outside of Jane and the other Asgardians building a time machine and grabbing a new version of the mystical hammer and just straight up copying something we literally just saw, what else could she use as her go-to weapon in the MCU? Now, I have seen some theories that Jane might end up getting to use Stormbreaker, Thor's current weapon that he helped forge during Infinity War. It might make sense on the surface, since there's no worthiness enchantment on it as far as we know, meaning anybody really should be able to pick it up and use Thor's power, even though I'm pretty sure Marvel's gonna stick with the idea that Jane is worthy like in the comics, making any enchantments like that pretty much pointless anyway. But the thing is though, as we saw at the end of Avengers Endgame, the Chris Hemsworth Thor is out in space with the Guardians of the Galaxy. And even though we don't actually see Stormbreaker as he boards their ship, we do see him bring a bunch of his junk with him, so it does make sense that he'd bring Stormbreaker too. And you gotta keep in mind, Jane Thor is probably gonna be another franchise Marvel's gonna wanna make a bunch of movies on, so whatever weapon/power source Jane ends up getting in Love and Thunder is one that she'll probably end up keeping by the end of the movie. So unless Marvel's planning on having Thor and the Guardians returning to Earth, even though they literally just left, or having the Guardians, or at least Star-Lord, drop Thor off somewhere like Scrappy Doo on the side of the road to give him the chance to run into Jane Thor, just so he can give away a weapon he nearly died trying to put together, I'm pretty sure we're not going to end up seeing Jane using Stormbreaker to turn into her version of Thor. I mean, maybe some of the movie can take place in space, so Jane can still use Stormbreaker for a bit, but considering how we still haven't seen Beta Ray Bill yet, and nobody knows whether or not he'll end up wielding Stormbreaker like his comic book counterpart, I'm pretty sure Thor's still going to be able to keep his newer weapon in the end. So, okay, if Jane's not going to turn into her version of Thor through Stormbreaker, then how else could she get her powers? Well, why couldn't she just use Mjolnir from the regular timeline? We've already seen that humans can get godlike power from it if they're worthy enough, so assuming Jane is too, I don't see why it wouldn't work for her. Now I know Mjolnir was destroyed during Ragnarok, I already mentioned it at the start of the video, but here's the thing. As far as we know, the shards of Mjolnir are still sitting on that hill in Norway where Odin died. Nobody said anything about how somebody else, or something else, or whatever got over there and picked them up. So assuming Mjolnir's pieces are still just sitting there, I don't see why Jane couldn't head out to Norway for some reason, maybe while doing some more Einstein-Rosenbridge research or something, I don't know, and stumble across the shards herself. Now how she winds up putting them together again, I have no idea. Considering how the original Thor is probably still going to be out in space with the Guardians by the time Jane finds Mjolnir's remains, and most likely wouldn't have a reason to just pop back in immediately, maybe Jane takes the shards to the closest Asgardians she can in New Asgard, and maybe Valkyrie helps her put them back together. Or maybe Jane just doesn't become her version of Thor till much later in the movie, and the OG Thor takes her to Eitri, and they reforge the hammer on Nidavellir. Or maybe we'll see something like in Thor number 602, when Doctor Strange took the Odin Force from Thor to fix his weapon after he accidentally broke it during a fight with his grandfather Bor. I know Jane doesn't have the Odin Force, but maybe we'll just see an homage to it or something. Like the only way to reforge Mjolnir is to merge Jane's life essence with it or something, I don't know. Either way, I'm sure we'll find out more about Jane and how she gets her power as we get closer to Love and Thunder's 2021 release date. But anyways guys, that's my take on how exactly Jane Thor could end up using Mjolnir in Thor: Love and Thunder. If you guys agreed with anything I said in this video, or if you have your own thoughts you want to throw out there, then go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, I will see you all next time. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, then go ahead and click that like button, and if you're new, maybe consider clicking that subscribe button too. I've also got links to my Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and Patreon in the description. You should probably check those out too. And if you want to see more of my content, then you can click the link to my last video. It's right there in the middle of your screen. Alright, and I will see you all next time.